Well, hey there. My name is Kathy Taylor, and I get to serve as a transformational coach, speaker, and leadership development specialist. I am so excited to hang out with all you blazing women today. So, listen, I want you to eliminate distractions. I want you to really lean in to what we're going to talk about, especially if you serve in leadership. Now, I'm going to define leadership for you because some people may say, well, Kathy, I don't really lead anybody, but that is not my definition. Because sometimes you are leading people as a silent leader. People are watching you all the time. And so while you may not get paid to lead, you are still a leader, and I want to build that in you. All right, so let's jump right into our essential leadership skills. So let's talk about it, y'all. This is not the Kathy Taylor Show. Let's make that clear right now. This is us having this robust conversation about what is essential leadership skills? What do you need to know? How can I help you with that? And then we're just going to further the conversation. All right. So welcome to Be That Academy. Everything that I do is really focusing on people becoming your purpose and exploring your passion. So here's what I want to lean into today. I need to tell you all the things about me, like not in a way that is, oh, she thinks she's all that. But I mean, look at my glasses. I kind of do. And it's okay, right? All right. And then we're going to talk about Be That Academy. Then we'll get into the body of why we're here, which is essential leadership skills. We'll talk about my proprietary method, which is the ICARE model. And then I'll tell you what's next. So who is Kathy Taylor? Who is the founder of Kathy Taylor Consulting and Be That Academy? So I've spent over the last 30 years in education, training development, and as an entrepreneur. I actually started my first business when I was 17 years old, and that was an event planning business. I loved all things weddings, love, parties. I wanted to do all the things. And I grew that business and stayed in the event planning field until my late 30s. Yeah, something like that. And then I kind of transitioned as I finished college and really got into early childhood education and training development. Now, one of my proudest moments is defining and developing the Diary of a Grown-Up. So the Diary of a Grown-Up is all about embracing the changes and challenges that come with growth in life. So I wrote a book. I have a podcast called The Diary of a Grown-Up. It's available on Google and Apple and all the places, okay? And then I also do workshops because I believe that we are all one conversation away from change. And as adults, sometimes we kind of hold on to stuff and we don't want to talk about it because we think we're the only ones going through that. And what the Diary of a Grown-Up does is to help you understand, hey, you're not in this alone. And then why am I here today? It's about training and facilitating. So I work in the corporate field, the corporate sector. I work with nonprofits and higher education, dealing with training on leadership development and just people skills in general. All right, enough about me. Let me tell you what's coming soon that you need to know all the things about. Be That Academy. This is my newest love child. Be That Academy embodies everything that I feel I want my life work is around helping people understand their passion or understand their purpose. So becoming your purpose and really exploring your passion. This is going to be a space for multi-passionate entrepreneurs, creatives, and thought leaders who believe every project is essential. And they just need help prioritizing, communicating, and executing what that vision or brand looks like. I believe you don't have to do this or that. You can do this and that. And I want to help you understand what that looks like. All right. So why are we here? To talk about essential leadership skills. My proprietary method is based on this quote. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Theodore Roosevelt said this quote, and it really connects with me because of the work that I do. So I work with leaders every single day. And oftentimes as leaders, we get caught up in the task of the day. But if you don't connect with people, the tasks are always going to be very daunting. So people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So let's lean into what the I Care method is and how can you be an essential leader, or maybe you already are. By the time we finish today, you will be able to note or check the box and say, yep, Kathy, I'm trekking on the right path. I'm good. Or you will say, Kathy, thank you for bringing that to light. And I may need a little more help or just some guidance. And we can definitely have another conversation about that. All right. Okay, so I Care. It's an acronym for, the C is for connect. I want to talk about how to help how your communication styles complements or could potentially create a barrier in how your vision or message is viewed. Now, the A is for articulate. Your communication helps others understand your message without you becoming frustrated or reactive. How many of you are saying, oof, yeah, that's the area that I need help in? Yeah. This is the part that really made me lean into this whole model and develop methods around it. And then the R is for responsibility. You are responsible for cultivating relationships and providing clear communication. As a leader, that's your job. Now, remember, you don't have to have people that are on payroll following you to call yourself a leader. Everyone serves in a leadership role, whether it be professionally or personally, and especially as business owners. Maybe you are currently a solopreneur. You are grinding and doing this thing all by yourself right now. But take the time to learn the skill set needed so that when you have employees, because I believe you will, yep, because that's a part of business, you want to grow. Nobody should ever, and I'm kind of getting on my soapbox, but let me step up and then I'll step down in just a moment. Nobody should want to remain a small business. Yep, I said it. You should structure your business so that you can either franchise, you can sell, or you can bring in other partners to expand. But the goal should never be to stay small. I am now stepping down off my soapbox. There you go. You're welcome. All right. Emotional engagement is that E. So your emotions affect your leadership style and ability to lead well and engage in healthy relationships. So here's what I want to do. I want to break down this model in bite-sized pieces with every letter so that you can have a better understanding of why this work is so important to me and how it's going to help you develop your skills so that you are or you will become an essential leader. All right. So the C is for connections. I believe that you need to make sure that you are connecting with people before you just start throwing out content. Have you ever had a leader that you felt made you feel like, are they talking to me or are they talking at me? There was just something about the way they said something to you. It just didn't feel right, right? And some of us that are a little more spicy than others might have said, listen, you better watch your tone when you're talking to me. But I believe a part of that, not all, a part of that is because there is no connection. That leader or you, maybe we're talking about you, has not taken the time to connect with people so that they understand who you are and who they are. So, how do you create connections before introducing content or introducing a task? One way is to understand DISC. So put I have in the chat if you've heard of DISC before. I want to know who I'm talking to and how many of you have actually heard of DISC or actually taken a DISC assessment before. Okay. So here's what DISC is. DISC is a behavior assessment that gives you insight into your own and others' behavior styles and traits. It provides clarity on certain common trends and actions within people. So the acronym for DISC, DISC is an acronym for driven, for the D, influencer, for the I, steadiness, for the S, and conscientious, for the C. So I'm going to break down each of these letters, and I am fairly certain that as I do that, you will kind of quickly identify and get a grasp on what DISC is and isn't. So let me tell you a couple of things first. So one thing that DISC does, it helps you to raise your self-awareness, who you are, how you respond, and it helps you to discover who your tribe is, right? It can really assist in dissolving conflict. So you know that boss we were just talking about that you're like, listen, you better watch your tone when you're talking to me. Understanding their DISC style is going to help dissolve how you feel about the way they said things sometimes because of them being maybe very direct, and how you can address them in making sure that they understand your style as well, which leads into DISC provides clarity as well for you. And then it really does aid in relationship building. So we're talking about C for connections. Understanding DISC styles helps you to create that connection and dispel some of the myths or certain perceptions in advance. All right. And now every leader, we are all a makeup of all four styles, and an effective leader should use all four styles to really connect with their people. Now, let me tell you something. Here's a couple of things that DISC is not. DISC is not a part of your DNA. It is not deep rooted. I know you act just like your mama. You act just like your daddy, or there's certain things, right? It's not a part of your DNA. This is really based on just personality and behavior, right? DISC is not a diagnosis. So this can, while certain parts of it can change, because there are levels of it that is based on your current situation and your lifestyle. This is not permission to be blunt or unkind with your words, meaning, well, that's just how I am. I mean, take it or leave it. Guess what? When you are a business owner, people have the right to leave it. So we want to make sure that we are using kind words, being true to yourself, but also understanding that it's necessary for me to flex in order to have good relationships with others and to connect with others. And then also, DISC is not a fix me tool. So here's one of the things that happens a lot. People do come to one of my DISC workshops and they will say, oh, I am taking this home to my husband or my wife because I knew it. I knew that this is what they are and I need to tell them all the things. No, it's not a fix me tool. So just, be careful with that as well. Because even though I'm going to give you a very high level to all of these styles, you will automatically, it's just human nature for you to start judging people. So do not, that's my disclaimer, do not go and start judging people and say, I knew you were this, or I knew you were that. No, that's not what this is. All right. So here we go. The D is for driven. There's a couple of things you need to know about D. They are doers. They are very active and kind of straight to the point. They're results oriented. They are the ones that see idle chatter as a waste of time. It's like they should be doing something all the time and on to the next thing. They don't like to get bogged down in the details, meaning that most Ds or driven people are visionaries. So they have these great big ideas, but they don't want to be in the weeds of actually doing the details of making it work. But they wholeheartedly believe it's going to work. All right. So let's talk about that influencer, the I. They are the talkers. They are the cheerleaders. They're very people oriented. They like small talk. They have no problem just having random conversations about something and nothing at all. And they're really okay with being in the spotlight. Yeah, if somebody got to stand up and somebody's got to be on camera, that's probably them. And then let's talk about that S. The S is for steadiness. That steadiness person is very detail-minded. They are very methodical. They like to see things all the way through. They're typically very easygoing and dependable. So one thing about the S is they don't prefer change. So once it's kind of if it ain't broke, no need to fix it. Yeah, it's probably an S that came up with that quote. And then they need time to think things through. They are absolutely processors, right? So they're going to process it. They may mull around a little bit. But once they're good at something, they prefer not to mess with it too much. But they're also known as people that like to please others. So when we think about the detail-minded, they want to make sure all the details, they give you all the notes, and they like that attention of, I've done a good job. Now, the C is for controller, not steadiness. I mean, the C is for conscientious, not steadiness. Sorry about that. And the C's often are known as controllers, not in a domineering way, but they just like to make sure things have decent and are in order. So they are very logical and rational. I will say that C's are most likely the ones that love a rule and a regulation. So when you are talking to them, talk about the facts. And do you have proof? They don't work well in just general statements. there's a beginning and end to things for most Cs. And they are very concerned with procedures. So if you say, go 2 blocks up and to the left, when they go 2 blocks up and to the left, they want to know what's next so that they can process the things. So let me just go back for a moment and talk about all the letters and give you kind of a summary. So for the Ds, I'm going to back up just a moment. So bear with me. So when we talk about DISC as a whole, the Ds and Is, you see they're on the top register, right? So they are the ones that don't mind leading. They are fine with taking charge, taking the lead. They are typically the outgoing ones, the extroverts. Not always, but most times they are the extroverts. Now, the S's and C's are typically the introverts. They are still leaders, but they're okay with leading from behind. They don't need to get up and be on the mic or be in front of everybody. They want to do their job, do it well, and lead from behind. The last thing I want to tell you to kind of wrap up talking about DISC is the I's and the S's are most likely people, meaning that they thrive and are really good at connecting with people. Now, on the other hand, D's and C's don't mind connecting with people, but they are very task-oriented, meaning that if there's a task that needs to happen, people may get shorted sometimes. So when I'm talking about making connections before content, you understanding everyone's style and the people that you are connecting with will help you know, how can I connect with them? If it's someone that's a D or C or perceived as a D or C, you could probably go right in and say, hey, how are you? Here are the 10 tasks that I need to get done today. No problem, they're on it. To say that same thing to someone that's known or suspected to be an I or an S, hey, how are you? Here's the 10 things that I need to get done today. Can they get it done? Absolutely. Do you need to give them a little more time and a little more conversation? Yes, probably. What that does is when you are flexing your style and leaning into what they need, you get better results. It creates that connection needed for them so that they want to do the job. I hope I just helped somebody with that. And I am going to make sure that I answer all the questions that you have in chat. Please, 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 please make sure that you are asking me questions. Keep the questions coming, comments coming. I am here to make sure that I get all of those things answered for you. All right, so we're going to skip ahead and talk about the A for articulate. So we're talking about the I care model. People don't want to know how much you know until they know how much you care. So the A is for articulate. In the chat, I want you to tell me if you are a person that is perfectly fine with communication. You think that you are a great communicator. You have no problems telling your story and bringing people along for the ride. You are clear with your company vision, your personal branding statement. You have no problems. I want you to put in the chat, I'm good. I'm good. So For those of you that say, Kathy, I hate public speaking. I hate the sound of my voice. I get so nervous. I don't know what to say. I thought I was going to say this, but it didn't turn out that way. Put in the chat. Yep, that's me. That's me. Now, one more group. If you know that your business or your professional career is suffering a bit because you are paralyzed by public speaking, by holding meetings or speaking in public or communicating your thoughts, put in the chat, I need help. I need help. Okay. So I totally understand that. You know, sometimes people see me now and they say, Kathy, you speak every single day, every single week, in different states, almost every other week. I am somewhere speaking about leadership development and developing your brand or your business. And you do fine speaking. You are good at this. If I hit your nerves, I would do it too. It wouldn't be a problem. So let me tell you something. It's just us, right? Is this a safe place to share? Tell me. I want to know now, is this a safe place that I can share and be open with you? So the Kathy Taylor that you see now is not the Kathy of maybe 2 years ago. I used to call myself the earpiece girl. What does that mean? That means that I wanted to write the curriculum. I wanted to write out everything and give it to someone else to say it. But what happened is I found myself frustrated, angry, annoyed. I felt so many sleepless nights. I was just in turmoil and just, there were all these emotions that I don't even know if I've given a name to this day sometimes. And the reason is because there were certain things that I knew that I was supposed to do, but out of my fear from speaking out, I pushed it off to someone else and wanted them to do what I knew that I should have been doing. So when they did not do it the way that I would have done it, had I not been too nervous, had I not been too scared, had I not played chicken, I was frustrated with them. I was angry with them. I did not show up as a great leader. I did not show up as a good influencer or manager. Why? Because I was giving my assignment, my God-given assignment, to someone else to do, and it wasn't their job. So I had to have that moment and kind of take back what I had given away. And people didn't even receive the information well from someone else. It's because it was what I was supposed to do. So this section on articulate is really meaningful to me because this is where I had to do the most work. So let me tell you something that one of my coaches, Charlotte Stallings, told me a couple of years ago. She said, Kathy, you have to respect the butterflies. And I was like, wait, what? She said, yeah, because guess what? getting nervous, even for a person that speaks often or that's really comfortable in front of people and in front of the mic, they get the butterflies too. So you have to respect the butterflies and knowing that they're going to come. But how do you get better? You get better by practicing. All right, I got to move on from this, but I told you this is one of those areas that I had to really grow in, and I still work on articulating my words and making sure that I show up as the best version of myself. And that's what I help other people do as well now. So I want to give you 3 ways to become more articulate. The first one is being a team player. So why is this my first one? It's because you have to make sure that you are a part of it. As a leader, you need to make sure that you are a part of the team, but also understanding what role you play on that team and making sure that you articulate the difference is so crucial to what that looks like. Now, I know maybe you say, well, Kathy, I'm not the leader of my team, but any space that you show up, whatever team you're on, the better that you are at articulating and communicating your words, that makes people pay attention. So maybe you're not the leader of certain sections yet, but it could potentially come, and now is your practice time. All right. 2, public speaking. Leaders who are articulate usually excel at public speaking. You have to practice skills like your tone, your pace, and your volume. Being okay with those pauses, knowing where they go, knowing when to inflect your voice and you're speaking louder, or when to cool it off a bit. You know what your natural tone is. So are you a naturally soft-spoken person? So when you are speaking out or speaking in public, you know that you have to exert a little more energy with that. Or if you are like, hey, all the time, you're on 10 all the time, knowing when to kind of bring that back according to your audience. Okay. So maybe you're saying, well, Kathy, I have zero ambition to be a public speaker. So my rebuttal to that is, do you ever have to hold a meeting? If you are a business owner, do you have to talk to your clients? Are you a part of marketing your business? Are you the face of your business? So standing up on a stage is not the definition of public speaking. If you're talking to a group of people, and I'm just going to say outside of your home, could be inside of your home, that's public speaking. Oftentimes we want to think about these large groups and these large platforms, but it's not that. What you learn to do small will grow. So perfect it in small times because you don't know where you're going. You don't know how you'll have to show up. All right. And then 3rd, small talk. Leaders who have mastered small talk understand how to set boundaries while engaging to build trust and connections. So what does that mean? Let's go back to our DISC wheel, right? So if you are an I or an S, connecting with people, that's kind of your jam anyway. You don't mind talking to people. So you can talk about everything. But sometimes that limits progression, right? If you are on that DC side, then you may or may not do a good job with small talk because it's not your natural tendency to have small talk. All right, so let's finish up with articulate and move on to our next letter in the ICARE model, which is responsibility. How many of you find it easy to take responsibility for your words and actions as a leader? Tell me in the chat. No problems here. No problems here. And for those of you that you know it's the right thing, but sometimes that initial reaction is a little challenging, can I get a struggle bus? Yep. Tell me. Remember, y'all have already told me that this is a safe place to share. So just put struggle bus. And it's fine. You know, we're going to talk about both. So I'm going to give you 4 ways to take responsibility for your actions as a leader. So first one, let your words be your bond. Now, if you are, I'll say, over 40, you know, this was one of our sayings, your word is your bond, right? So let your words be your bond, because taking responsibility for your actions as a leader, and I'm just going to put out there as a good human, is so important. People will likely trust you more when your actions match your words. I want to offer for your consideration to commit to personal accountability by following through when you make commitments to yourself and others without making excuses. So I will say, remember, let your words be your bond. And this includes letting your yes be yes and your no be no, and being okay with that. As a leader, it's so important for you to model yes being yes and no being no. And maybe is a real word, but don't use maybe if you know it's a yes or a no. All right. So number 2, focus on accountability. We're talking about taking responsibility for your actions. So you're going to focus on accountability. Take caution when you're tempted to blame others for a specific outcome instead of accepting personal responsibility. What that does is this builds strong relationships and empowers you to influence situations for the better. I think that as a leader, one thing essential to leadership is building trust. When you break trust with people because you start that blame game, that's a rub that's hard to come back from. So whenever you find yourself playing the blame game, take a step back and think about how you contribute to the issue. And then you need to model what that looks like, what it looks like to step up. It doesn't mean that you're perfect. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have hiccups. But as a leader, don't you respect that person so much more when you are able to, when they say, hey, I messed up, but I'm here to help fix it. Or maybe I didn't give you all the information you needed to make the best decisions. So I take responsibility for that. So again, model what responsibility looks like. Here's another one. Number 3, maintain a positive attitude. Complaining or engaging in negative self-talk can make you feel like you've lost control or have signs of low self-esteem. Have you ever had that leader or someone that's in your circle currently that if you say it's a great day, they're like, yeah, it's okay, nothing special about it? Or there's always this contradiction, or they make jokes that are kind of always not positive, but they put it off as a joke. Sometimes as leader, you have to do the hard things, right? So it's so important that you watch your attitude and watch your words, because your thoughts become your words and your words become your actions. And as an essential leader, it's your job to help take responsibility and for how to model that. And then I want to give you this fourth one. That's take action. Yeah. Make goals and steps forward. Step forward achieving them. When you actively pursue a goal, it will reinforce your capability for self-improvements and help motivate you and others. As a leader, the goal is not for you to have all the answers, to know all the things. The goal is for you to take action. That's it. To help your team, to help your colleagues, to be a part of the solution and not the problem. That's a big part of taking action. So here's what we've done. We've talked about the C. The C is for what? Connection. C is for connection. We are creating connections before we get into content or doing tasks. And then we followed with that A. The A is for articulate. I'll say it this way. Say it before you say it. We want to make sure that we are articulating our message in a clear and concise way so others can follow our brand and our vision. And then the R, you guys are doing great. The R is for cheat sheet right here in front of you, responsibility. The R is for responsibility. And we talked about 4 ways for you to take responsibility as a leader. Now, we are in the home stretch of the I Care model. And the E is for emotional engagement. I want to make sure that we talk about 2 things. One, to be an essential leader, you have to have the skill of leading well. So I'm going to tell you how to lead well. And then how many of you are familiar with emotional intelligence? Maybe you've taken an assessment or you've studied, or you have some insight on what that looks like. It's perfectly fine if not, because we're going to lean into that just a little bit as well. Okay? So lead well. A part of having essential leadership skills is knowing how to lead well. And I want to tell you what that looks like. So the first L is for listen. You have to make sure that you are listening more than you speak. And then the E is for engage, engaging. Leaders actively engage with their teams. You cannot, let's go back to that C really quick. You have to know how to manage connecting with people, which means that you're engaged, so that they don't look at you as that person versus one of us. And then accept is the A. Leaders appreciate and accept the people they work with and invest time. So making sure you make time for people. And then the D is for develop. Leaders consistently create development opportunities. Again, you should not be the one that knows all the things and nobody on your team can function without you. And then let's talk about the well. So we talked about lead, let's talk about well. The W is for welcome. Leaders welcome new ideas and is willing to try something different. The E is for enable. Leaders release appropriate authority to help others grow. You always want to make sure that your business, your company, your department, whatever you do can run without you being there or being present 24/7. And then lifelong learners, that's the first L. You value education, you value promoting and learning new things. And then the last L is level-headed. Cooler heads prevail. No matter what your DISC style is, no matter what your leadership style, no matter what you've seen, leaders always provide a safe place for others to share. So that's the lead well model. Now, I want to wrap up and talk about emotional intelligence. So here's the high level version. Emotional intelligence is the ability to identify, use, understand, and manage your emotions positively and constructively. So let me tell you my version of what emotional intelligence could look like. Emotional intelligence looks like looking in the mirror, which is the self-awareness and self-management section, and then looking out the window, which is the social awareness and relationship management section. I do a workshop related that's talking about emotional intelligence, and you can absolutely get on my list to attend. My quick debriefing is at no cost, or there's a minimal cost for it. So just being a part of my email list will get you all the information you need about that. Okay, so let's wrap this up. I care model wrap up. The C is for connections. The A is for articulate. The R is for responsibility. The E is for emotional engagement. I care. As an essential leader, you need to make sure that people know that you care. Why? Somebody just put it in the chat for me, because I need you to remember this. I need you to document it and know that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That is the essence of essential leadership skills. So here's the thing. I think we are better together. And so I have partnered with some phenomenal women as a part of my team. And so if we are working together, if we are connecting, you may talk to one of them. So I just wanted you to put a face with a name. And I have office hours. Yep. This is a way for you to work with me or to work with a member of my team at a fraction of the cost that it for individual sessions. All right. And these are some of the things that we look at. Topics include between my transformational coaching and leadership development. Now, those sessions are $49. However, because you are a part of this Blaze Virtual Summit, I am inviting you to take part in one session at no cost to you. That's right. There's that $49 will be waived just by you using the code Blaze Group. Now, here's how you can get on the list. Here's how you can be invited. You can simply send an email to my admin. I'll put that in the chat as well, admin@IamKathyTaylor.com, or visit my website and just send me a message. Either way, and just let me know you were a part of this summit, and we will make sure that the session of your choice, because you'll get to know the topics, where you'll get one session at no cost to you. All right. Well, here's my information. Let's keep in contact. It has been my pleasure to spend this time with you today. And I hope that we get to connect soon. And I'm here for any questions, and let's continue the conversation. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Kathy, thank you so much for this session. Kathy, you were on, but you're off again. Let me see if I can see you. But because of the time, I will say because of the time, we won't be able to have a robust Q&A. We're kind of bleeding into the next session, but this one's very, very rich. We had over 50 minutes of content in this one. So thank y'all for being so engaged, so in the chat. I've seen your questions, and Kathy's actually been answering them. So it looks like everyone's been answered as well. So make sure even in the replay, you come back and look at that. But Kathy, thank you so much for this segment. Do you have any quick words before we pivot over?
No, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I have enjoyed hanging out in the chat with everybody, and hopefully I got to everybody's question. If you ask me a question that I did not answer, I'll be happy to do that. Just shoot me an email or send me a private message, and I'll be happy to jump in and answer that question for you. This is truly my life work, talking about leadership development and helping you get clarity in your communication and all the things, anything dealing with DISC, emotional intelligence. And Casey and I are going to figure something out. So I know a few of you have taken a quick DISC via Truity, which is one of the sites that I use, but I'd love to do a deeper dive with the Blaze group. So we're going to figure that out too.
Yeah, that would be super dope. We'll circle back, and we promise to bring that information about that back to the community. Kathy, again, it was so rich. I'm sorry we can't dive into the Q&A, but you definitely gave us a lot of content relative to, the more truncated stuff. So I do believe, based on the chat, that everyone's actually received a ton, and you're incredible at what you do. So thank you so much.
Definitely my pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity, Casey.
Of course, thank you. All right, y'all. Want to make sure that we kind of stretch and are able to get through the last couple of sessions of the day. Day 4 is almost over, okay? Day 4 is almost over. We only have 1 hour left. That is it, 1 hour left. And as always, the vendors are in the Buy Black Market so that you can engage with them. The tables are in the lounge so that you can engage. Literally, I don't know why my nose ring was out. Literally in the next 24 hours, okay? Literally in the next 24 hours, the Blaze Virtual Summit is over. Okay. So I want you to definitely take advantage of all of this. Kathy, DM her, email her, right? Y'all can chop it up in the lounge. She has a booth. She's been doing incredible things in the booth, and people have learned so much. Even this morning, folks were saying they enjoy engaging conversations with her. Someone came on the stage and actually talked about Kathy, right? So we have to move this along right here, right? But this is still your house. And in 24 hours, the summit is over. Okay, I promise. We're not here on Saturday. We're not here on Sunday. Okay, so definitely this last hour, I ask that you engage. We have 2 brilliant, amazing, dynamic people that are about to hit the stage. One being our girl Erica Hill. Erica Hill has a Blaze Talk called "Just Start the Damn Biz," sis. Somebody out there is still doing a hobby and not a business. Somebody out there has big dreams, but they're still in the 9 to 5 because, right, they're more risk adverse and they're afraid to bet on themselves. And Erica Hill is coming with a Blaze Talk called "Just Start the Damn Biz," sis. And Racine. We enjoyed Racine yesterday. Y'all remember she's the one that told us a man is not a plan, right? A man is not a plan. She is a financial advisor. She's absolutely brilliant. She's coming at you to end this day as promised. We are bringing money talks every single day because this is a piece we got to get really, really comfortable about because it is the key make it or break it indicator in a recession, right? Like cash flow generation is just, what can kill you even if your ambitions are dope. So she is coming with a session that's called The Financial Future is Female. And after that, we're done. Okay, for today. And we only have tomorrow left. That's it. I'm saying this a million times because I want y'all to know that it's like almost over. Okay. So I mean it, get what y'all need from this. Okay. Get what y'all need from this. Before we go to the very, very end, real quick check on the leaderboard. We have China still holding down number 1. We have Dana still holding down number 2. We still have Alexis holding down number 3. But there are some upsets, okay, in the other numbers. Okay, yeah, in EM. Winnie has rushed up to number 4. Okay, I wasn't even ready. Winnie is at number 4 with 7,195 points. That's crazy. Christina King is at number 5. Amber Hurt is at number 6. Crystal Paulin is at number 7. Ahira is number 8. Coach Uwim is number 9. Crystal Mordyke is number 10. Tatiana is number 11. Nicole Player is number 12. Okay, Auntie Yvonne is still holding down the number 13 spot. Karen Moore is still holding down 14. And Coach Michelle Manning is still holding down spot number 15. Still anybody's game. The winners are announced tomorrow and is locked. Okay, the Blaze Business Awards are announced tomorrow. Judges sent in their polling yesterday. All results came in last night at midnight, including the People's Choice voting alongside the judges. And so winners will be announced tomorrow. I hope y'all make that. It's at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Winners across various categories so that we spotlight them in lieu of sponsors because they're the ones doing the work and there are the business models to follow. We are who we've been waiting for. All right, we're going into Erica's session right now. I'll see y'all on the other side. It is just start the damn